Shall I do it this time?
Go on then.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Before We Break Up Again with me, Jessie Cave, and him,
Alfie Brown.
In this episode, we talk about a number of things. I tried to recycle some material that we did last summer to see if we can bring anything out from that to make it better and funnier. We don't. It's actually slightly incoherent, and I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Have I done something wrong? Am I being too negative?
This is the bit of the podcast where we sell the podcast.
Oh, right. I'm not good at selling things.
You can't tell people that it's like, oh, by the way, here, enjoy the podcast. It's incoherent.
Oh, right. So it's not incoherent. It's incredibly entertaining.
There we go.
And it's very insightful. We attempt to talk about Adolescence, but then Alfie hasn't watched it, so we can't. And
doesn't stop me having an opinion, no.
No. Oh, no.
My critics will not be disappointed.
No. We talk about my love, Charlotte Church, and teachers. And look forward to a bit about Dragon's Den from me. Thank you very much for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at Before We Break Up Again. And have a lovely day. And happy birthday, Alfie.
Follow the channel if you don't. And like it. Thank you very much indeed to everybody who listens. See you later. Welcome back. Here we are. It's Before We Break Up Again with me, Alfie Brown, and her, Jessie Cave. You'll just have heard that in the intro. But we don't
know how it's going to go yet, so.
We don't know how it's going to go, but they will certainly have heard the title of the podcast, won't they?
Yeah.
Definitely. I always do that.
Yeah.
So they will have heard that. We are taking a little break. I think we've enjoyed the first 5 minutes of the White Lotus finale.
Then I got too anxious that we haven't done a podcast yet this week. So I've made us stop and record a podcast on the eve of Alfie's birthday. And I think you resent me somewhat.
And if there is any more fertile ground for podcasting, it is pressure to not have done one. So it is my birthday doesn't really.
Well, no, because tomorrow's a packed day. So we've got a lot going on. Day. So I won't. And then I've got a convention.
Is it because so we're recording this
Wednesday.
So the day before my birthday. So we're doing another podcast. So we won't bore you with any birthday stuff other than to say, is it the last podcast that we did together that has inspired you to create a jam-packed day for me tomorrow? Because we were quite humorously saying that we never do anything for birthdays. And tomorrow I've got a spa and then...
No, thermal spa.
A thermal spa followed by
2 hours.
A luncheon.
£42.
Followed by a nice trip to the pub together.
No. Followed by the cake at home, which I'm baking myself. Obviously, I'm a natural baker.
Well, that's why everything else is so nice, is because...
What?
Because you're going to bake.
I'm going to bake a cake, my second ever cake. And then... Well,
you've done a lot of baking, like the dog, what's the cartoon dogs called? Paw Patrol.
And the Paw
Patrol cakes. And Peppa Pig cakes.
But even that I fuck up them.
I know. That's why I'm slightly worried about by the time we do get to Aber Voyage tomorrow.
Voyage.
That we might be having cholera. But
do you know, really sweetly, our daughter did an exam, English speaking board exam, which lots of children do in year 4 and year 5. And she chose ABBA to talk about as her subject. And even in her speech, when she was rehearsing it with us, she was saying, ABBA Voyage. And she didn't want to correct it. Like me, it just sounds better. Voyage.
Yeah, the film's now Voyager, I suppose, not now Voyager. Anyway, I'm very excited about tomorrow and I'm deeply grateful.
That's really sweet. I think I subconsciously have organized a lot of things because we never have. And also because I did watch that bit back of the podcast. Obviously, I don't watch the whole thing. I'm not mad. And I thought, okay, I think a lot of people are going to... It's about how much you put in. You get what you give. And I don't give anything. So no wonder I don't get anything.
You give a tremendous amount, but the things that we
Not
give...
to birthdays.
No, not to birthdays, but we give a tremendous amount to each other in other areas, just not birthdays. Birthdays, I don't do any days. I don't do Mother's Days. I don't do Valentine's Days.
I know, but wouldn't it be nice if we just tried for a year to do all the days?
Let's try and do all the days then. I mean, especially as we've already missed Valentine's and Mother's, I'm fairly fine with that, actually.
Right, and Fathers.
We haven't missed Father's Day
Yeah,
yet.
we have.
When was Father's Day?
I don't know.
It's June.
I don't even know. So I'm trying harder. And also just because you're quite depressed. And so I just thought, oh, maybe this will...
Not anymore. I feel like actually you can't be depressed for 2 episodes in a row.
Oh, right.
So I'm chipper.
And you're wearing a cardigan.
And I'm wearing a cardigan. Chipper attitude.
And you met a personal trainer this morning.
I met a personal trainer this morning. He was absolutely splendid. A real gorgeous man. That short back and sides with slightly longer on top, pushed forward, bleached blonde, tanned skin. It looked like a real tan as well. And lithe.
So where did he find you? You just said you were propositioned by a personal trainer. How did this happen?
Well, I got an advert on Instagram saying we are looking for 20 men in the bank area who want to get in shape. And I went, yeah, if you're looking for somebody, I'm in the bank area.
So you've replaced my PMDD trial, which I'm now ghosting the university.
You can't. You have to get
I'm not ghosting them. I'm going to
to
return the device. I'm not going to steal the device because that's worth £500. I could sell it, but I'm not going to do that.
No, don't do any of it. Just get back in contact with them and say, I'm really sorry.
I don't have to apologize. I'm just saying I'm worried that I'm killing my brain. Anyway.
I think this attitude that people have nowadays where they go, I don't have to apologize, is eroding the fabric of decent society.
No, okay, I have actually apologized a few times.
I don't have to apologize for this. You do. Or even if you don't have to. It's like, I don't have to hear that. No, but you just do hear it. Like,
I have apologized.
I'm not aiming at you now. I'm just aiming at the whole...
Yeah, you're doing a bit. Stop doing a bit.
Yes, that's what this podcast needs. Fewer bits. More rambling chat with us speaking over each other and fewer
But don't worry,
bits.
I've already done a mental note to myself to not interrupt you again because I know you get very, very upset. Very upset.
Again, Jessie,
very
I would say
upset.
that everybody
So
gets interrupted.
I know.
Everybody who gets interrupted is upset by it.
Well, it is almost like acting this, because in acting, if you are doing a rehearsal and somebody speaks over your line, it's because they haven't listened to you. And I realized, interrupting is essentially just not listening, is it?
Mm.
Isn't it?
Well,
Isn't it?
Editing that clip the other day of us.
Today,
you are in your own little world.
Yeah, I'm not even, you're
You're
there.
not listening to me at all. And I've got this line that I think is quite neat that I think, and it's even in my head before I say it, I go, this will clip well. I've got Mila Kunis and I've got David Jason lined up. 2 completely contrasting and surprising characters to hear right next to each other. That will be amusing for whoever hears it. And then as soon as I say it, you just go, yeah, public park. So repeat what we've been saying.
I just keep saying ping pong.
Ping pong in a public park. Like a nutter.
It's good alliteration though.
Well,
Sometimes you don't need a joke.
You certainly made the most of it.
I'm sorry. I was just going to finish what I'm saying is that I'm not doing a trial as you're starting a trial. And both trials were found on Instagram.
Both trials were found on Instagram. I'm not sure. See, the thing is that he texted me afterwards and said, let's book in your first consultation to take a photo, see how fat you are, really embarrass you. That's what they do, is they get you to take your top off in a horribly lit room and let your pale fat sag over the top of a underused sports short, and you're standing there all tits and everything, grumpy in front of this lithe, gorgeous gay man who's taking my photo. or at least that's what would happen on Friday. And then you're so full of shame and self-hatred that you're motivated to lose that 9 kilograms over the 6-week trial. But I thought they were going to give it me for free. I thought they'd accepted me because I had 34,000 Instagram followers and I was going to be able to do a lot of good work for the new hybrid personal training thing. But no, it's actually just, we're looking for 20 men in the bank area to pay for personal training. Well, that's not a treat for me, is it? It's not like you're looking for me. You're
basically giving them content and your image will be on their Instagram.
It's not content. I don't have to do any content.
No, their content.
I don't have to do any of their content.
But you don't know that. What if they're not filming you doing the plank looking awful?
Well, the plank is a very overrated exercise. People don't do the plank if they know what they're... If a personal trainer gets you to do the plank, you know that you don't need to employ them as a personal trainer any longer because the plank is not a great, I don't know.
I still like the plank.
Do you?
Anyway, I'm worried about this. I'm worried about this trial. I think that you would be...
It's not a trial.
Well, it's it's a thing for them. They're on trial for 6 weeks or...
Nobody's on trial.
But it's a 6-week program.
It's a 6-week challenge.
Right, okay. And they just want 20 people, what for, to try out this workout place?
No, I think it's just a way of phrasing it so it sounds like you're part of a cool trial thing, whereas actually you're just buying some personal training from somebody who sells it.
But isn't this going to be like last time when you signed up for one of these and then you have to join a WhatsApp group?
I can't be involved in another WhatsApp group. So if it is like that, but I think it's one-on-one. So it's basically me texting the nice man.
Okay. I'm still not quite. I think maybe a birthday gift to yourself would just be accepting that you're not maybe suited to intensive training of any kind.
Well, yeah, if you're willing to accept that, I'm willing to accept that.
I don't think you're willing to accept it. I'm fine with it. I don't give a shit. I fancy you.
Cool.
Don't worry, I fancy you.
Thank you.
So I don't give a shit. I want you to be happy.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about that then?
Well, that's why I'm trying really hard with your birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, so basically I've got a list of things. This is episode 10, which is quite an achievement for us, actually.
We've stayed put.
70 days.
Yeah.
Of us doing this, which is, I'm really happy with that, actually. Given that I have wanted to do a podcast with you forever and I'm your biggest fan.
Thank you.
So what I thought would be nice to do is go through a list of things we talked about in Edinburgh last year. I still am I know I use the word traumatized, but still slightly traumatized by Edinburgh Festival last year for me because it was not what I wanted at all. Or anyway, doing the shows with you as we were trying to find our format for a podcast were really enjoyable. And so I thought it'd be quite fun just to do a little quick fire list of the things that we talked about. And a lot of them won't make sense to anybody but us, and see if there's any topics that we would like to return to briefly, at least.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, cool. We also need to talk a little bit about Harry Potter World.
Sure.
And I guess your betrayals.
Sure.
You haven't betrayed me, silly.
I know. I'm just waiting for you to go on.
Have you?
Huh?
Have you betrayed me?
Well, I think we've both
You're wearing a cardigan.
Yeah. Is that a betrayal?
That's a betrayal. That just signals something's going on.
Yeah. Me and Horatio got it on in the artillery arms earlier.
Okay.
Go on.
Stop naming places. Okay. Tokens. What do you think we talked about with tokens?
Tokens. What did we talk about with tokens?
You gave me the idea for this.
Did I?
You gave me the word token.
Did I?
What do you think that was for?
I can't remember this one at all. I saw it at the top of the sheet and thought, fuck me, I don't remember what that is. Whatsoever. Tokens. Did I give you tokens to...
So I give you a clue.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about the idea of injustice, that some people have more followers than others.
Right. Yes. Okay. So you got your Lisa Scott Lees, you got your Joe O'Meara's, you got your James Bournes,
Who is my person that I picked though as my main person?
Tina?
No. Obviously, we could talk about Tina from S Club 7 again.
Rachel Stevens?
No.
Your main person from the past?
Piezu.
Oh, Charlotte Church.
Charlotte Church.
So people who were famous in the 90s, noughties, people who enjoyed the huge upswing in our fascination with celebrity culture, but sadly did so before the advent of social media. And they were therefore unable to capitalize on the financial and ego-based benefits of being a celebrity in the modern age. Brackets, it can't be that great. So many people are killing themselves. So we suggested that we give tokens for followers to people who were famous then.
You also liked the idea of Gina G being given tokens.
I really need to know that Gina G's okay.
Because at one point, Charlotte Church, as a teen, was the most famous teen in the UK.
Very much so.
And yet, at the time of Edinburgh, she's had an upswing. I'll tell you why. But at the time, it's actually amazing. I actually could talk about. I should just do a podcast about Charlotte Church.
You should. Not with me.
No, don't worry. On my own in a room. I don't even need a microphone. She at the time of doing this podcast thing with you in summer, she had very few. She had maybe like less than 100,000, which for previously the most famous person in the UK.
Sure.
Was nothing.
Yeah.
Given that people go into Love Island and come out with millions of followers, and so financial security via leggings adverts or fake tan adverts or whatever for the rest of their
with you
20s. I found that unfair. Like she was so well known and she's actually got a real talent. Why doesn't she have more? On top of that, Charlotte Church runs a school and does meditation retreats and sound retreats, which are really funny. And the reason why she's had an upswing since Edinburgh is because she went on this morning to do one of her sound retreats to promote a stay at her sound spa thing in Wales. And Alison Hammond, the amazing presenter, was filmed cracking up. She just couldn't not laugh as Charlotte Church was like, and it went viral and she gained loads and loads of followers. So actually now Charlotte's doing okay. But that was well done. And we also talked about Gina G and some S Club 7 people.
Yes, I remember now. Yeah. That was a good idea. It's a good thing. I mean, obviously, I don't think that the reward of more social media followers is actually a long-term mental health benefit to anybody, really. I think whilst it can help you procure money in the short term, although you don't make too much money out of having...
No, none. I make none.
You did for a sort of short time.
Yeah, but that's when it's so fascinating.
After COVID, didn't you?
Oh, after COVID in between, yeah, because people were still working out what it is, how to monetize people. So I got a few baby stuff, skin stuff, but all crap.
An Evie razor?
It wasn't Evie. Evie's the breast pump. I got an Evie breast pump.
You got an Evie breast pump and you got one of those razors. Anyway, I mean, they don't seem to be, the people who were famous from before social media don't seem to be happier or less happy than the people who get famous now. The one thing I would say is the one-hit wonder no longer exists.
No.
And that's a great shame. And I think that's because of social media and because of the lack of imagination shown by people who work for record companies who don't sign anybody unless they have a certain amount of followers. It basically future-proofs. So I suppose they are doing right by their business, future-proofing anybody who releases a song against a kind of nosedive in their career, because they will at least have enough support online from this essentially like a mailing list or a fan forum, as it were. It means that they can't really have only one single. But it does mean that those bands who just had one hit and then somebody goes to a gig, hears it and goes, oh my God, that's a fucking hit. And then you're signed. Okay.
Well, the music industry's just completely changed.
It has. As has all of these entertainment industries.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. What's the next one? Recycling.
I don't know what we were talking about with recycling.
Okay, next one. Repurposing.
I don't know what we can talk about that.
Long hair boys.
I don't know what we can talk about with that.
Henry/bin.
I have no idea.
When did you write these down?
I found a note. I found a sheet of paper today, crumpled up. And when I had the spare 10 minutes, I thought, I'll write that down out of interest.
Wow. I've no idea. I mean, recycling and
you don't have to go in order.
Okay. But recycling and repurposing could be essentially the same thing. Recycling is, in a sense, repurposing.
You did have that. You created that you used recycling and repurposing to make something I had a suggestion for a bit. I was basically trying to work out some stand-up for me, and Alfie was kind of directing me and helping me live on stage.
That was the premise of the show, but it did descend into chaos quite a lot of the time.
This is my idea that I do genuinely think is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dragon's Den.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what my idea was? You hated this. Why do you hate this so much? I think it's genuine. This is genuinely something I would like to invest time into.
Yeah, go on.
No. Why? Just tell me why you hate it first of all before I go on.
Because I don't know what it is.
Okay, well, I'll explain.
No, but I know what it is. I just don't know what you're on about. But anyway, tell everybody so that they can make up their own mind.
The idea is trying to get something back from somebody who has wronged you romantically.
Right. That's a slightly more broad and it is a different phrasing to the one you originally used.
I'm trying to just make it more have more sense to you because obviously you don't get it. So basically,
tell everybody what it is first.
So it's Dragon's Den for exes, or you want to. It's basically. I had this idea of a sketch of me going on Dragon's Den and saying, "This is my business idea, Dragons. My ex left me and our children to go to Hawaii. I know you didn't. I'm a character, not me.
Okay.
She has 4 children. She's called Jackie, and her ex, Alfredo, left her to go to Hawaii with. Anyway, she's heartbroken, and to make matters worse, in the cupboard she has all of his protein powders that he's got kind of with a few scoops gone when he's in a health phase, but then just leaves for months/years there in the cupboard for me, Jackie, to eventually dispose of because it's Jackie's job. And so I was thinking, right, how could you, rather than resent those protein powders and just throw them away and discard them, how could I make some money off these protein powders? So I had this idea of, mixing them all into a different potion and then creating labels with my doodle skills and stuff, and like reselling, recycling, repurposing the protein powders for a new market to make use of them. And the idea is that I would then, they own. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
That was always my big problem with it. I mean,
it's a funny idea.
You do sound a lot like Jackie, though, this Jackie character. There's only one big difference between you and Jackie, really. It was that you said that Alfredo left Jackie, whereas with me and you kicked me out.
Alfredo left.
That's the only difference.
I didn't kick you out.
You kicked me back to bag of my stuff and kicked me out. That's what happened.
I packed a bag. It doesn't mean I kicked you out. I left a bag performatively by the front door. I didn't mean to kick you out.
Well, we now, you didn't mean to, but
that the first breakup I stand by. The second breakup I regret. The second breakup I could have done without.
Okay,
that was 3 months of my life I do not ever want to go through again.
Well, just don't do it again then.
Then don't be it. Just, don't do what you did. You left without saying goodbye one day. And that was the final straw.
Yeah. Well, we weren't, I love you.
You just left. You were like, I'm going. And then you just left. You didn't come back to hug me. You didn't kiss me. You just left to go to your fucking meeting. It's like, you come back 3 or 4 times. You have like a fake goodbye, then like a practice goodbye, and then goodbye. You don't just leave. Okay, so you've learned that lesson, haven't you?
I've learned something.
You'll never leave again like that.
I've learned something.
Okay, good. Anyway, so no, and then also it was like repurposing his T-shirts, your ex's T-shirts that he's left there that he loved, but he can't be bothered to come back and collect them because he doesn't care about belongings and stuff like that because he's a free spirit and you're not, Jackie. You're not a free spirit. You cut up his T-shirts and you repurpose them into cool headscarves. And like wristbands. And then what you do is you post photos of you in this headscarf and wristbands so that he sees that you've cut up his T-shirts.
I do really like this as an idea. I don't understand why have you confused everybody by mentioning Dragon's Den at the beginning?
Because like you used a really good word earlier. So you smush things together. So you get them in with Dragon's Den and then you go rogue.
Right. But I think as a bit, this is much funnier if you say, cut the Dragon's Den stuff and just say, I've been left with all my ex-boyfriend's shit in the house. So I've decided to repurpose it you don't need to be in front of the dragons.
But also
you're confusing us by putting it in front of the dragons.
But also the protein powder thing, it's more of a comment on men and giving up. Like men just tend to give up more than women, I think. Like, so your habit, and also I just find your habits so funny. Alfredo's habits so funny because the protein powder thing, it's insane. You don't go to the gym and immediately have to, gotta get that protein in, gotta get that protein. You don't need that much protein. And so the fact that there was so much protein powder.
What do you think that you know about protein?
That it's a myth. The great protein myth.
Anyway, moving on.
No, hang on. I've just got to finish on that. Anyway, Dragon's Den in itself is something that I think it's the funniest show ever. Like to go on and to know nothing about finances and to say, we estimate to make 6 million in the first year. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah. So what were your somethings for last year? I don't know. I'm drunk.
So the next up, we've got Aaron Carter.
That was very sad, wasn't it? It's very, very sad.
What happened to Aaron Carter?
Yeah, he died.
If only somebody had given him some tokens for some more followers.
Exactly. Aaron Carter could have really done with the tokens.
I ruined lives, teenage teachers.
This is about this can lead us on to adolescence. It's about the difference between teenage girls and teenage boys. So as a teenage girl, I think I genuinely did ruin some lives.
Yeah.
Like truly ruin my mum's life for a part of my life. Like ruined her. My dad's, my siblings probably. But the main person, I think, well, probably it was collective. It was a group of teenage girls who I think made this teacher's life miserable. But a teacher who I think probably helped get fired because he was turning up like looking like he had just come off a dance floor somewhere, and he was kind of seemingly quite coked up the whole time. Probably was actually, but I
think it was better to frame this in regret than
it was all his fault, but I do regret it. No. I just think that why did we have it in us as a pack, these teenage girls, to
cancel him,
ruin this man? Yeah. I mean, I don't think
you had a teacher.
I had a teacher who was quite, I don't know if teaching has changed. I would love to know, but I had a lot of really dodgy teachers. And this one in particular was quite like...
I think teachers are better when they're like that. I think
Dodgy.
teachers, just a little bit of rogue to them. I think teachers are better when they've got a little bit of, I am not a teacher. Like when they've got a little human frailty, when they've got a little naughtiness, when they can go, I actually think the rules are a bit shit as well. But I tell you what is cool, learning.
I'm absolutely on board with that. But when a teacher looks like they want to kill themselves and they don't want to be there and they hate not only themselves, but their job, that's, I don't think, fair on a group of teenagers.
Yes. What the History Boys by Alan Bennett taught us is that if somebody is a good enough teacher, it's okay if they molest you.
My God.
And that's, Alan Bennett was very, very keen to give us that message, wasn't he? Did you ever see the History Boys?
Yeah, I saw it with James Corden.
Really?
Yeah, before he was the mouse and the Gruffalo.
You saw it with him? On a date?
No, he was in the History Boys.
Oh, right.
No.
That was just a little joke.
Oh, okay.
It was just a little joke, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't think less of me.
So I
was also in it when I saw it.
Oh, really?
With,
a lot of cross paths, didn't we, as teens?
We did, yeah.
It's just amazing we didn't meet before. Thank God we didn't, because we would not have.
I think we kissed once in Finnegan's Wake in Ealing.
No, I didn't kiss anyone in Finnegan's Wake in Ealing.
Oh, must have been somebody else.
Despite trying. Kevin Spacey kissed a lot of men in Finnegan's Ealing, though, didn't he?
Yes.
So I definitely ruined a lot of. It's just about the idea that teenage boys wouldn't have gone out of their way to ruin a teacher in the same way, maybe.
No, they're more invested in themselves and each other. I don't know. I've never been a teenage girl, so I can't really comment on what they're like. But I don't think that there is that instinct in them. It certainly wasn't in me. I didn't feel the need to bring anybody down. And I didn't feel like I was, I suppose the reason why you would want to bring somebody down is to try and lift yourself up. And I don't know how I lifted myself up when I was a teenage boy. I think by drinking and trying to get off with people.
Well, this is terrifying.
You learn how to play Drive by Incubus on the acoustic guitar to get it out at a house party. I never graduated to Drive by Incubus, but I gave a mean It's Been a While by Stained.
Cool. What did you think of Adolescence?
What did I think of it?
Yeah. You've only seen the one episode, actually, so we shouldn't talk about this yet.
No, we can't talk about it. I've hardly seen it.
Well, then just ignore that we said that, listener. I can tell the listeners what I think if you want.
You love it.
I didn't love it at all.
You thought it was really funny. That's what you came after. As soon as you saw it, oh my God, that's a brand new comedy called Adolescence.
You need to watch it, Alfie. You need to watch it.
This is the problem with everybody.
It's going to teach you so much.
Oh, it's going to teach me. Yay.
No, it will.
I've got fucking books over there for teaching. This is my...
You read that article, though, about it?
I've read a couple of articles about it. When we were at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe and there is a show that is having a particularly good run and it gets described as being important, I always think, it's my absolute nightmare to do a show that's described as important, because what it really means is it's crap, but it's about something deep enough that I'm not allowed to say that it's crap.
Yeah.
Because there are loads of important shows that are also really good or funny, and they never get described as important because they're good. So they just get described as great, because all great shows have a certain level of importance because they're fucking great. And it's important that things are great. But if somebody's mewling about some issue, and I'm not saying that like all these things that people go through that they do shows about aren't real or important, but I think like, and a lot of the time and I've seen a lot of Jack Thorne stuff, and there's always an element of trauma at the heart of it. And it strikes me as a sort of characteristic of an insecure writer who needs to embed their work with trauma because they're not confident enough in their own ability to write something gripping without like trauma being at the center of it. I'm surprised the Harry Potter thing he wrote, that Harry wasn't raped in that.
No. Okay. I love Jack Thorne.
Well, there you go.
And I think that Stephen Graham was, I think, the one to come up with saw these two things about real teenage boy cases and conflated them into this fictional story.
Conflated them into a murder, which of course none of them were.
Were they not murders?
How many 13-year-old boys?
Well, boys stabbings happen the whole time.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting in the article that you sent me was the idea that, do you think it's possible for a teenager to do something like that if they have a happy family life? Do you think that's, because I think that the article was trying to state that there's no way that it's random. You can your parents can do your best and you can be trying your hardest and everything, and a child could still go out and do something terrible? Or do you think it's impossible if you're doing everything you can as a parent, and you've built a happy home, a supportive network and stable base, that just wouldn't happen?
I think it's pretty similar to dogs. Like, if you raise a dog well and responsibly and train it and love it and exercise it and make sure it is nurtured and reared and cared for well, whatever the breed, barring, Caucasian Shepherds or XL Bullies or whatever nutcase dog you want to do, Huskies maybe, you'll pretty much be fine. Like, you'll be fine so often that it really isn't even worth bringing up the anomalies.
But you can't control what's happening elsewhere, though. No. So there could be bad luck. But I mean, most of the time when somebody does something awful, it's because either they're a psychopath or they've suffered some form of abuse in their own family life. And I suppose it could be their friends as well. I mean, obviously I haven't seen the program, so I don't know enough about it. So me commenting on it at all this is just a...
but I find I'm not sure that Andrew Tate is a problem, but I'm not sure that that's the best way to deal with the problem that he is. And I'm not sure that showing what I saw to children in schools necessarily helps, because I'm not sure that children of a certain age are emotionally equipped to deal with what they're seeing or to take it as seriously as they need to for seeing it to be efficacious to their good mental development. I just think everybody's kind of slightly lost their minds. And there's loads of fucking stuff about people murder. Like, we watched that. Murder is a big part of loads of films. Like, are we supposed to be lesson learning from all of them? I understand that it's meant to be more true to life, but is it more true to life? There's lots of problems with the actual reality of it and how, I don't know. But again, I haven't seen it. So
yeah, I know, but I'm just jumping off from it.
Okay.
And I don't think we're realistically going to do an episode about adolescence.
I definitely think we should.
I think it's just too upsetting. It's too upsetting. I think you can't deny that screens and video games and being alone in a room with a computer is pretty damaging to a teen and their development. And also, I think it's so fascinating that teens develop at such different rates to each other. So you can have a really innocent 13-year-old boy, and then you might have a really, really mature 13-year-old boy, and they're in the same class. It's really, and if they're unlucky and they're not with a peer group that is, similar to them or at their same kind of rate of growth or development, I'm so scared about it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Having kids is horrible a lot of the time because you're so worried about all of these things that are outside of your control.
Yeah.
and what could happen to them and what could they become and what could they experience that forms who they are in a way that's outside of your control. This is the fucking risk here, is that you all of this is like laying your love and your soul out on the line, and you're torn between smothering them into a lack of development that comes with parental suffocation, or you let them go and fuck about and take the risk. And that's what them jumping off sofas is for, is so that they fall off, hurt themselves and go, ouch, I won't jump off the sofa again. You let them put their hand in the fire, metaphorically, because then they go, ouch, the fire hurts, I won't do that again. They learn. And of course, screens and online, they're not just bad for them, they're bad for me and you.
Do you think if you had had an iPhone with apps and stuff when you were 14, what do you think you would have been like as an adult?
I mean, it's such an incredibly hard thing to gauge, because I think it would have completely reformed my personality, but at the same time, I don't think I would have been allowed one. At 14. I don't think I would have been allowed. I mean, I was allowed to go on the computer and play SimCity, and I was allowed to go on my console and play Brian Lara cricket. And it would have been so destructive, I think, for me. Well, I don't think it would have been good for my mental health.
No.
And I'm very, very happy that I didn't have access to pornography at that age, because I think pornography is dementing and really chemically recalibrates you in ways that you wouldn't imagine that it would have the power to.
Yeah, because I've really not ever been a big porn person.
Sure.
No, but I haven't. Sure. I don't know what
I've
happened.
had access to your history.
I just don't know what happened. It just escaped me. I've never ever got into porn.
Yeah.
And so people who watch it daily, I'm like, wow, that's just so I cannot imagine having it as a part of my life daily. And the fact that you, in certain phases of our relationship, have also been having sex with me and also watching porn.
I know.
I find that is like you cheated on me.
I know. It's mad, but it's so acceptable. Everybody does it.
But I didn't know you were doing it.
Well, that's kind of, I know you didn't, but like, it's kind of, it's weird, isn't it? Because first of all, it's not like I was, in the corner of the room with a blanket over my head going, ha, 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 ha. It wasn't a totally regular thing. It's just, and it is grotesque, and I don't like it, and I have stopped because it's not good for you, more so than anything else. But
the habit is grotesque. The porn itself isn't grotesque. Just the addiction to it is, I guess, slightly grotesque.
Yes, a lot of porn is grotesque and a lot of porn isn't grotesque, but I suppose what it does to you, it's the access point. I'm trying to write a joke about this at the moment, you'll be pleased to hear. And it's about getting that, how grotesque it is, or how grotesque it makes you feel, or how much it fucks up your brain, or how it completely destroys your reward system. Because to see like an attractive person fucking should be difficult. You should have to at least get up and go outside to be able to see that. So to be able to just be eating hobnobs and go, then your brain goes, I won't do any hard work, because that's how easily that level of.
Have you watched hobnobs have you had hobnobs whilst watching porn?
No, I'm trying to be florid. Okay, cool. I'm just checking. That
sounds like something you would do.
Well, I do love hobnobs, yeah. And I probably have at some point in my life had hobnobs and porn
at the same time?
I'm not sure.
A porn snack. Is it like, you know, how everyone usually, well, we have to know what we're watching before we eat, or, you know, apparently that it's a really common thing for people to line up what they're watching whilst they're eating. Do you think that people line up what they're eating while they're watching porn?
I think a lot of people do. I mean, not line up what they're watching, but I think a lot of people watch it as a casual consumer, like trousers up porn.
You know, Twitch?
I do.
You know how at the time when you tried to do it a tiny bit, and then I was learning.
Try to do it.
You did it.
I did it.
You did it.
I was a very accomplished streamer.
Yeah. Sure. The idea was that you have, and the idea with video podcasts as well, is the idea is you have it in the background. You definitely get into video for podcasts because people can have it at work while they're doing stuff. They can be doing their errands and stuff, and, you know, office stuff, and have you on in the background.
Now do a mime of a hamster in a wheel. Same.
Do you think that porn for some people is just on in the background?
Yeah. I went to backstage at a gig once, and there was this old bloke with this phone rested on his gut, and he goes, "All right, lads," and he's got porn. He's watching porn on his phone.
That's crazy. Crazy.
He was just watching it for enough to pass the time, I guess.
Yeah. Wow.
But I think the words like dopamine get tossed around a lot these days without people really knowing what they mean. But I think there might be something in it in the old porn department. And like anything, you know, I think in moderation could be a little bit of fun. We sometimes stay in a hotel that is awash with porn on the TV, and it's quite good fun to stick it on, and because it's all so silly when it's one of those films.
Yeah.
You have to have it volume up.
No, volume mute.
You have to have it mute. I have to have it volume up. It's weird with these silent fuckers in the background. Jessie has to have the volume
let's move on from porn.
Well, I'm trying. That's my whole point.
Yeah, you have to. Do you remember your first joke?
Do I remember my first joke?
That you did to your family, say?
Well, my first ever joke on stage was...
No, to your family.
Who remembers their first joke to their family?
Well, like today, all day.
Crazy thing.
But all day today, the kids were going, knock, knock. And they were doing those jokes. I thought, do you remember one from when you were little?
My favourite joke as a child.
Like, did you do a joke or an act? Like today, our 4-year-old was putting down his trousers and turning around and going, enjoy the show. That's like a bit he's doing. He's finding his clown or whatever he's doing. Did you do anything like that?
Yeah, lots of things all the time. I have no idea what they were though.
Okay.
You'd have to ask my mum. Maybe she can be our first guest on the podcast.
Yeah, that would be nice. Shall I tell you mine? And then you can tell me your first joke on stage. I wasn't a joke.
Okay.
It was an impression
of
Hugh Grant. And it was him as a video of me doing it, which is very strange because I don't... If somebody had said to me, you are a very, very quiet, silent child, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds bad. But this video completely shows a different side to me, which is obviously the side that's come out to play here in my career on stage and stuff. But I'm saying, hello, this is a bit from 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Hi, babe. Hi, babe. Name's Charles. This is your lucky night. It's just when he's saying, so I can't just go up to her and say, hi, babe, name's Charles. This is your lucky night. But I just picked, hi, babe, name's Charles. This is your lucky night. And I did that all the time.
It's a fucking brilliant film.
Yeah, it's great.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's amazing that he also wrote Yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, Yesterday was mad.
Absolutely mad.
Yeah.
Much as I love Himesh.
Yesterday is one of those films that there is a one-liner. It's kind of interesting, but there is no way that can be fleshed out for a whole film.
it's a real 3 a.m. idea.
Yeah.
It's like, it's 3 a.m. Everybody's had way too much Coke. And then somebody goes, hey, what if like the Beatles songs got like raised and like you were the only one that remembered them? Wouldn't that be mad?
Yeah.
It's completely banal. And it doesn't logically follow through at all. They haven't done enough work on making that happen.
So what was your first joke on stage?
Well, actually, I do remember getting my dad to film me do an advert for a local electronic goods store called RAF Radio, because I just wanted to do like an advert type thing. I also used to cross-dress a lot.
Well, I think one of our children is going to do that quite a lot too.
Yeah, I was obsessed. I always wanted to wear I always wanted to be an ugly sister or Wendy or
princess
or yeah, be the princess or be, it was always like a special go-to to put on my mum's lipstick and wear a dress.
Oh, I'm so glad you did that.
Sorry?
I'm so glad you did that.
Why?
Because I just think it's the most like interesting boys do that. I think it's so great that parents are the kid obviously feels safe enough to do that. It's so great.
That's a nice
I
way of
really,
thinking about it.
really hope that our two youngest ones do that more.
Yeah, I think if either of them do it, I'll beat them up
Okay.
because it's gay. Yeah, no, I was always really, I was so, yeah, I felt so great doing it. I really, I loved it. I totally get why like drag is such a cool and big thing. I have no idea why anybody would want to watch it, but I get why people want to do it. It's like the London Marathon. Like I get why you'd want to run the marathon, but who's watching it?
Yeah.
It's like drag is just like, oh, you mime along while you're dressed up. This is for you, not me.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are we watching this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your first joke on stage?
I came out on stage and I'd planned this for ages, and I would rip the microphone out the microphone stand and start singing, "You've got the softest insole, baby, and the shiniest leather too. I've got to celebrate you, baby. I've got to praise you like a shoe." And I was 18 years old. It was Lindsay's Bar in Edinburgh. And I went on stage to perform this, my first joke. And I whipped the microphone out the microphone stand and the cable fell out the back of the microphone.
Oh my God.
And I screamed at the audience, "I'm sick of these cheap gigs." Because it was something I'd seen Dylan Moran do in his show Monster when he goes, "I'm sick of these cheap gigs." And I thought, oh, that's funny. So I'll say something funny like he says it. But when you're a posh 18-year-old gigging in front of some disgruntled, brackets probably alcoholic Edinburgh postman in January and you scream that, it's not charming. It's bad. It's bad stuff. It was all one-liners. Really, really bad. Yeah, crap one-liners.
I can't believe that. I would have loved to have seen.
Yeah, January 2006. We're coming up to my 20-year anniversary as a stand-up.
What, next year?
Next January.
What? It's April, Alfie.
I know, but in the context of the 20-year journey, that's what we're coming up to.
I don't like doing that. Don't do that.
Okay, well, come on. We're pushing 40. We're pushing 40, so we need to...
off. Right, we're going to end this podcast now because we need to, but thank you. I'm sorry.
You can't end the podcast like this. You need to end the podcast with a real, like we need to rant about, so, oh my God, is somebody naked? Stop the podcast, everybody. I think at the block of flats across the way, somebody is getting changed. What is...
No, Alfie, you can't be on like film doing that.
But I think it's fairly natural, isn't it? You can't see anything and he's left the window open. And I've said he, so people don't know it's a she.
Okay. I've also written down on our list of things which make absolutely no sense of what we talked about in Edinburgh. How cool would it be to be an inventor and make me a channel of our peace? What the fuck?
Well, this was before we break up again, everybody. We hope you have a pleasant week. You
can't end it. Like, you don't burp as you're ending it.
That's not a burp. That's just me swallowing my...
It's swallowing a burp. You're swallowing a burp. Don't do that. You can get conjunctivitis. Okay?
Okay, so
I'm a fun girl. And I'll be giving you more advice like that tomorrow on your birthday. Okay?
I'm very excited about tomorrow.
I'll bring the hygiene gel, don't you worry.
And I'm deeply
and
grateful.
the lube. You know me.
Mm-hmm. Just don't
Safety first.
Don't confuse the hand sanitizer with the lube, okay? Because it would hurt.
Yeah.
Us both.
Thank you for listening.
And we'd have dirty and slippery hands.
Let's stop now, please. That was disgusting.
What do you mean disgusting?
It's just how you said that and looked at me. It's like you were doing some kind of...
Right. Are you excited to find out what happened in White Lotus?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite dull, but it's good to know what's going on, isn't it? She's got nice legs though, I'll give her that.
All right.
Leslie Rothwell.
Bib.
But it's Rothwell. She's married to him.
So married. His name is Sam Rockwell.
Oh, so Leslie Rockwell.
Bib.
Bib Rockwell.
Leslie Bibb.
Oh my God. Why are you doing this? It's not...
Because that's somebody else. In the credits, there's somebody else called Rothwell, and there's Sam Rockwell, somebody Rothwell, and Leslie Bibb. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, you're wrong.
Well, I can't wait to find out.
Okay, thank you for listening, everyone. Sorry for it being slightly incoherent today. I was leading the podcast, and Alfie let me down.
Well, how did I let you down?
No, you didn't. You were much more eloquent than me.
You're amazing, baby. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Can I turn this mood around?
Okay. Go on, end it.
You can have a nice...
End the podcast.
The podcast. I thought you meant the relationship that you're breaking up with me again.